Like I said, there's certain things. Like I said, if I was, I'm going to be 100% honest when I say this, and this is going to throw some people off. So get ready. If I was saved before I joined Phi Beta Sigma, I probably wouldn't have did it. I probably wouldn't have did it.
As a young woman in junior high and throughout high school, a lot of my mentors, a lot of people who worked with me and women that influenced me were members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, aka.
So, with that being said, I'd say, pray about it, definitely do your research, and then we all know what we should and shouldn't do.
Absolutely.
Like, just at the end of the day, you know what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And so, whether you choose Divine Nine, whether you choose Multicultural Greek, whether you choose a Christian Greek organization, like, at the end of the day, you have to answer to God.
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't matter about their opinion of you, what this other person said. It matters about you and God and your relationship in it. So regardless of it, like, I had a lot of, like, some of my best friends are part of Divine Nine organizations. And now I have seen some of them, like, they did take a hit to their walk with Christ, but that same thing can happen in the Christian organization. Just because it's got Christian on it, boys be wilding.
Yeah, that's
boys
a
be
very
tripping.
good
Like,
point.
I'm on the national board for the organization, so I get to hear about everything that happens. So I have to sign off on things, and in doing that, I see actions that take place that, as Christians, people do stuff that's not Christ-like. And so you have to remember that we're all fallible men. We all have issues, but in that, do we answer to God? And so your actions, you have to, at the end of your time, and if you're in heaven, hopefully you make it up there. Because some people, they say Christian,
It's a lot
they're
of
going down.
Yep.
But I think in that, did you seek after God? No matter what letters are on your jacket, colors you got on, did you seek after God in that? And in doing that, I feel like if you are in a Divine Nine organization or any Greek organization, you can bring people to Christ in anything.
Yeah.
And so
Christ
even when Paul says,
everywhere.
I've become all things. Like, so I'm not saying that's your excuse or something like that to do whatever it is. Because some people, they will take that the wrong way. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to hit this party up and I'm going to evangelize.
You're not.
No, you're not. You're going to use your eyes to, see everything that's going. And so that's what I would tell somebody. Pray, definitely seek God on it and do their research. 'Cause a lot of people just see it looks good from a distance. But they're not really, that's any organization. They don't want to do work. They see the jackets, the colors, everything, like, oh, I want that.
Everybody has
and as
t-shirt
soon as they got to do work,
wearers.
they're like, you know what? I'm just glad I crossed, and now I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to be good with my letters. I'm not going to pay money. I'm not going to participate.
And if you did that,
I ain't about picking up trash.
Community service.
Like,
Exactly.
I usually,
What's the point of that?
I don't see a ton of community service from organizations. Like, I don't know what it would look like. So somebody's... Jordan, what would that look like for y'all? Did you participate in a lot of community service or whatnot? Did y'all go as a group? Did you just, I'm an AKA and I'm going to go do it?
First off, I'm going to step back a little bit because I kind of want to speak on the female perspective in terms
Go
of
ahead.
GreekLife. And I came into a mainstream organization as a believer. So my advice for women is straight up, yes, pray. Yes, talk to the Lord. You need to be intentional about your prayers and about your desires and real with yourself on why you want it.
Gotcha. Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, real with yourself on why you want it and why you want to pursue this, because you will have to make choices. You will have to make choices and make sure that you are firm in your faith. I didn't join my sorority because I needed friends. I didn't join it because I needed to feel like I belonged somewhere. I already had a body of believers around me. I already
You
had
were close
community.
to graduation, huh?
Yeah, I was a year away from graduation. So I came into the sorority and I had all that stuff. I had already known that. I had believers that judged me and said, oh, she ain't going to be a Christian no more. She probably won't come to Bible study anymore because now she's okay. Like, no, like, yes. I have people say all kinds of things
That's
about
another
me.
show.
But straight up, like, you have to walk the path that the Lord has laid out for you. That was one of my desires. I knew what I wanted to do with it, and I knew that it was a platform to reach other people in Greek life, and I was able to do that. 3 days after I crossed, I became the president of my chapter.
Nice.
So, community service in the form of even on campus, picking up the campus, doing the recycling events, mentoring young women at different schools. There's so many different options. Volunteering at the library on Saturdays. going to some of these resale shops and helping them sort through donated items for the homeless.
Yep.
There's a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things to give back to your community, but sometimes those things are closed. So it's just for the chapter, which is why people don't always see it. It's not always outward and open to everyone else because those are bonding experiences for the Greeks as well. So there's a lot of different community service. There is initiatives to forward education in certain ways, mentoring programs. There's debutantes and battalions for high school age kids that fraternities and sororities do, and a lot of the graduate chapters do those things. So there's a lot of different volunteer things, but everything isn't always seen to the naked eye.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, one last thing, I hear about grad chapter. Like you're graduated, right?
Yeah, I graduated in December. Yep.
Okay, so I hear a lot about grad chapter and there being a tremendous difference. I'm just asking out of my curiosity. What's really the difference? Because honestly, when people talk about it, the main difference I hear is maturity. Is that, in grad chapter, you ain't literally the first guy that ever told me about grad chapter Alpha Phi Alpha. He said, "You ain't gonna do all that mess." Verbatim, that's what he said. You're not gonna do all that mess.
Yeah.
Is that the main difference? Is there more community service or?
You want to go first?
I can.
Because it's like she really had something on her heart. I wasn't going to
Oh, no. I actually didn't, so let me just go out the dome. Yes, graduate chapter is different. You have a wider range in age in regards to sorors and experience. In that graduate chapter, yes, there's still community service. There's still fun events. There's still lines that come through. There's still initiates within the graduate chapter as well.
Dope.
So a lot of people don't know that. So, so for, MPHC, that's why Six was saying this is a lifetime thing. Like, you want to be a lifetime member. You continue to pay your dues. You continue to put in work. You continue to do things for your community and for your organization. So maturity is a big part of it because it's not all about going to these parties and being seen or being the head K on campus. Like, it's not all about that, you can still do step shows. There's still like alumni step shows and strutting and stuff like that. But for the most part, homecoming is the greatest thing ever. Because, that's where we get to go back and, relive our college years a little bit, But other than that, in the sense of it's not, I don't want to say child's play, but it's not about parties. It's not about being seen and getting into events for free. You put in work.
Not for free.
I guess the easiest way to say that is a lot of things. One term that is used, or I guess a saying that's said in the Divine Nine Council is these are businesses. So not only are they just fraternities, and organizations, we're businesses. We know there is money that's in it. You know what I'm saying? We pay money, we do things for money and things like that. So it's a business. So there is a more professional approach in the grad chapter. So like I said, that would kind of go with the maturity level. And like that guy said, essentially, that's a funny way of wording it, but you really aren't doing that mess. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we in college, like I said, you're really trying to get fans. Essentially, you see what I'm saying? You're trying to get fans. For example, with us, we trying to get every girl we can on campus on our side. Why? Because once you like the Sigmas, you're going to show up to every Sigma event. That's going to put money in our pocket to where we can do other things and throw more events for. And essentially, events that we throw are a form of community service. Because we're throwing these events for people that are in college to come out to them. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, it's just people don't view it as community service. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's really about what that event that you're doing really is. Like I said, we have educational events. Now, people don't really come to those because that don't appeal. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why you see so much strutting and party throwing, because that's what's going to catch the eye of that young man that's on campus. You dig what I'm saying? That's what caught my eye. You know what I'm saying? Let a Sigma hat walk up to me like, "Hey man, you want to do some community service and be a leader on campus?" Bro, get out of my face. You dig what I'm saying? But if I'm walking through that, but if I'm walking through the Union, through the 1 o'clock lounge, R.I.P. to the Union. You know what I'm saying? If I'm walking through the Union and at 1 o'clock lounge and I'm hearing, music playing, and I look over and I see cats jump around with whistles and, turn it up. You know what I'm saying? Turn it on. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Okay, that looks cool. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, like I said, we're businesses, so that there is marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So like I said, once you get to that graduate chapter, I mean, like I said, really, it's almost like a filtering process. If somebody goes through that graduate chapter, man, that's somebody that genuinely wants to do work. You
Yeah.
can think of it that way. Because I said you're not going to party. They
Yeah.
may have a gala or something every now and then to where,
Yeah.
you know, they're dressed up fancy, you know, going to like a ball type thing. But
And it's
them
harder
cats
to
out
get
there,
in.
Yep, it's hard to get in. Them
Yeah.
cats out there are really putting in work and doing stuff for their organization.
That's
You know what
dope.
I'm saying? So
You mentioned it being a business. It wasn't I guess a school organization. It was a guy who was a Mason or something like that, which I honestly, for the longest, I put it all in the same box, you know, Freemasonry or Masonry, whatever. But he was saying it'll follow you for the rest of your life. And he was saying in the professional world, you'll look for a job one day and the guy that gives it to you will be a Mason. You know what I mean? And I've seen some big figures turn out to be some very big guys in the public eye be, you know, a part of Greek organizations. Does that seriously affect the workplace to the point to where it's like I'm doing an interview and then I mention, oh, I'm also A5A, what? And then y'all start chanting out some, you know, what's your purpose or what's your chapter? You know what I'm saying? And then,
Okay,
what,
wait,
man?
too
You got
far.
that. You know what I'm saying?
This is still a business. It's still promotion, though.
yeah, I mean, essentially, it's networking, man. It's one of those things like, you know, if I'm a CEO or somebody that's, you know, in human resources and I'm doing an interview, Jordan comes in and, you know, I look at her resume as a Sigma, I'm looking at it like, oh, AKA. So it's like I said, there are these prestigious organizations and you see it as, okay, if this person is involved in this organization, I know what she had to go through to get into this organization. And I know what she did while she was in this organization as an undergrad. So she has leadership abilities. She knows how to plan and put things together. She knows how to probably most likely speak publicly. So these are all things that you need in a business as well. So it's like, okay, she may not be in my organization, but this organization is in this council, so I know how they get down. So I know how she should be able to handle this position. So yeah, it does happen like that.
I've seen it help.
Yep.
I ain't gonna lie.
What about in the Christian arena, Miles? Like for Christian organizations, does it have a big effect on the workplace?
It's they're not known as well. So I mean, you think about the number of membership for the larger Divine Nine organization. So you got 300,000 members, you know, worldwide. Christian organizations like Gamma Phi Delta. I mean, we're just now getting towards 1,000. I mean, we've only been around 25 years, going on 26 years. And so in that, you have a much broader scope of people. So that doesn't necessarily say as much, but it always opens up doors to ask more questions. So like if they see, as I'm a national board member, so when they see that, they're like, tell me what this consists of. And so with any, like Sticks was saying, like with any organization that you're a part of, that speaks volumes to what people think that you should know how to do already. Now, with that being said, just because you're in an organization doesn't promise you anything at all. Because many people join the organization thinking they're going to get the benefits of the letters, but the letters don't make you. So like you bring the letters to what they should be. So like I know plenty of people that have joined organizations and they are flipping burgers. Just being honest. Because just because you join the organization doesn't put you up on a plateau above anybody else.
Correct.
So one of the biggest things that people have to remember is that on the college campus when you become Greek, it elevates you to your peers there. But honestly, that's about it, because in the long run, it's about what you do. So like whether I was in G5D or another organization, my name is what's going to actually bring people in to know me. So like you can have whatever stamped on whatever 3 letters you want, but what else is on that resume? And so that's the biggest thing about it. So like for the Christian organization, it's not as well known. Most people don't even know that Christian fraternity sorority exists. So that's why it's not, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm Gamma Phi Delta. Oh shoot, I'm gonna get this job. No, they're gonna be like, what is that? Tell me more. Are you one of those Christian? You know, it's gonna start open that up. So I really feel like it's on a different playing field in that regard.
Now I noticed in between Divine Nine joints, like I've seen this. As a matter of fact, I ain't gonna shout you out, but I've seen you know some struts that are like this towards other organizations that are like present. You know what I'm saying? So obviously that exists in I guess the mainstream organizations. Does that exist at all in the Christian organizations?
we come up with stuff like we kind of play around with it, but I feel like for what we're really trying to do, it works against it. So if you're trying to benefit people or bring them closer to Christ or something like that, but you're over here talking down on A, B, C, and D, that's not what Christ came for.
Yeah.
Christ, you didn't see Christ. Well, he would talk. Well, honestly, he didn't talk down on Satan and everything like that. Like, you think about the power that Satan had. Christ wasn't going around, hey man, that boy Satan, and he wasn't doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So in the Christian organization, like, it's not big enough to actually go for and do something like that. Now, while I was at Sam Houston, we were cool with a lot of organizations. So like, if we were doing a stroll off or something like that, we'd play around. They'd be like, hey, y'all want to throw something that we do? And so they do something we do as well. So instead of it being more of a diss, it was kind of like, we respect movements that you have. So we didn't necessarily have to be like, whether if it was, somebody taught A-Phi or a Sigma or something like that, I wouldn't be like, the Blue Juice, or we wouldn't be saying something down about them. And the same way they wouldn't do the same thing to us. And so I even think like part of what happens for Divine Nine, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, whenever it is like kind of the diss that per se happens, it kind of brings us more attention to the organizations itself. Because I've seen like different things where it's like, one organization will do a strut that the other one does. And so in that, everybody gets more riled up and live and everything, and it just brings more attention to everybody as a whole. And so it also brings a Greek unity and things like that, how like you can commune amongst one another. You might have on different colors, different letters and everything, but in the midst of it all, kind of have a friendly rivalry. Like, you're not going out there to like blow the other person's head off.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a show, it's having fun, it's a business. Like, that's one thing you have to remember.
So is that okay in the Christian arena then?
I don't think it's gotten there yet. Because it's just
to
not
where
starting
it's acceptable.
It's just now starting to become a bigger thing now. Because, like, we're one of the older Christian organizations, so 26 years, and so we got organizations been 100 years and more, 100 years plus, and so in that, because it's been around a lot longer and people know about it, and so even if you don't necessarily, if you haven't been on a college campus, you've heard of being a Q, you've heard of being Alpha, you've heard of being AK, you've heard of that. You might not know what it is, but you've heard of it. It's like, for me, I have an uncle that's Omega, so I knew about what an Omega was. Now I didn't know who it was exactly, but I heard about it. And so in the Christian fraternity side of it, like, I look at it like we're organizations like every other one. And so, like, it just, Christian is in the name of it, to who we personally identify with, but organizations like the other ones. So if we were to go out and stroll in a certain way, we wanted for people to identify that with us. And so we're not big enough to be able to do somebody else's moves, because if we do that, they're going to be like, well, he just looks like a Sigma. He just looks like Alpha or something like that. So then it's like, well, they just another whack organization, because honestly, everybody expect Christians to be whack. That's just honest. When I first saw Christian organizations, I was like, oh my God, these must be the rejects. That's what I was thinking the first time I heard. So like, but then like when I saw what they were doing, like I was like, no, these dudes are legit. Like they really coming with something, and so that's what kind of drew me in even more. So all that being said, like we got. That's how we play around and like we discuss about doing different things like that. Like, if we were to diss somebody, what would it look like? But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, we probably get jumped by everybody in their mom. They're like, we're going to take y'all little 500 members and we will crush y'all. We have to make sure that we actually get to know the individuals in the organization. Don't just because somebody is, AKA, Sigma, whatever it is, like, they are still a person. And we try to look at, because they did such and such, everybody sinned. I'm not saying everything that organization does is sin, but we've all sinned our own way. So if we pass judgment on somebody else, that same judgment we pass on us. So, my only big thing was say, hey, whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do it all to the glory of God.
Preach.
One more thing, man. For all those out there that may be believers, man, and you're thinking about joining, a Divine Nine organization, I just go back to what Jordan said earlier. If you're going to be a Christian in an organization, let it be a platform for you. Like I mentioned earlier, now that I've gotten saved and I'm a Sigma, my focus and my mind frame on Sigma is different. Like I said, I see it as a platform to bring others, young men or women, to Christ. They see these brands on my arm that may get their attention. Oh, you a Sigma too? What's up, bruh? Oh, let me tell you about how Christ has changed my life, bruh, and how I am still representing Christ and being a Sigma. So like I said, use it as a platform if you are going to go that route. And like we all said, stay prayed up, man. Everything you do it unto God and stay prayed up, man. Let Him lead you.
And don't lose yourself. A lot of people
don't
come in
lose
saying
yourself.
They gonna make these big changes, everything.
No, scratch that. If you don't know who you are and where your roots
you
are
will drown in that organization.
You need to stop there, because if you have not found yourself in Christ first, you're gonna try to find it in that organization. And letters don't make you. You make your letters. Period. The members make the organization. So if
Yeah.
you can't do that, you really need to step back and focus on your relationship with the Lord before you focus on Greek life. It's possible. I guarantee you, it's possible to be a believer, but you have to know who you are. You have to be confident in the decisions you make for Christ and use your platform and understand that, hey, people are going to come for you. People are going to say stuff. People are going to judge you. But so what? Because you serve a God that's bigger than that and that's greater than all of that.
All right, now you better preach.
Stay focused, like, on the Lord. Trust me. It's look.
Come on, Father. Come down.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but she just said scratch
She
that.
said
So,
scratch
you know what I'm
that.
saying?
Let 'em off.
Let it roll.
You just got
My
to
bad,
Come on, let him use
I
your
let
right
it
skin. Let him use you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out to my frat brother if he watched this, Nigel Robinson. Shout out.
YBT.
Yellow Bone,
YBT,
Texas. That's their
Yellow
Greek
Bone.
letters.
Yeah,
YBT.
That's funny.
Yellow Bone Texas.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you guys once again. I'm Sir J. Screaming Joe. This was Backroom.
Yes, sir.
Shut him out.